Alright, so one of my favorite riffs that I wrote several years ago is something that always comes back to me. It's this thing called Zombie Machine. And so forth. And originally recorded it back in 2015 or so using a little Beat Buddy, drum effects pedal. And wasn't quite happy with that production, so several years later I did a newer version of it, and so I'm going to be referencing some of that video here, but wanted to just kind of break this song down because as I was realizing it has a certain way it was composed, that each section kind of flows from one to the other in a nice way. This is really the idea of having counterparts.
This is the moment. Well, dear, are you ready?
As for the video itself, I've gotten a lot of questions about exactly what type of makeup effects I was wearing or what kind of filters I was using on the camera. I just put some painter's tape in various places on my face to kind of give it a weird texture, almost like a zombie cadaver that's falling apart and someone trying to tape it back together. And then what I did is, it's the common tool we used in video editing. I used the masking feature. So ordinarily you'd see that used in the background where you mask the green behind you or blue or whatever to make a green screen effect and put another image behind that. In this case I masked the color of my own face. So by putting a black background behind that in the video, it made anything that was flesh colored look either black or something in between. So really depended on, since the video was shot in the sunlight under partial shade, depending on how much light was hitting my skin at any particular moment, that skin was actually replaced with either black bleeding through or some version of gray or green or something, depending on, again, how closely that skin tone matched the exact pixel that I decided to mask out. I'm going to be doing this song using my ESP LTD MH1000. Got the Pegasus Seymour Duncan in the bridge here and playing through the Boss Katana artist head here, the 100 watt, through an EVH 212 here in the room. The original recording was done a little bit different gear, anyhow. So the intro to this song is very busy. There's actually two guitars doing octaves on this. It's this part here. Wanted to convey the sense of sort of electricity, lightning, and this type of thing. And of course, if you reference the old Frankenstein movie, that's sort of the whole impetus of what brings the creature to life. So that seemed like that would be the perfect introduction kind of sound to this. Then, of course, that takes us to the main riff, which has this very stilted, marching, almost Rammstein kind of a riff. And in fact, the feeling of that is what inspired the title of Zombie Machine. It made me think of the sort of staccato and almost stop motion animation you see of zombies when they're walking. Even that ending almost feels like it was chopped off. Like there's something else that should come afterwards. Then we move into the next part, which is almost the very opposite construction. We go from the key of E, and the next part goes into A, and it has a very open, flowing kind of feel, which is the exact contrast to the riff before. So we come out of So see, we go from going from that really tight, controlled picking from the first part to the second part, which is just much more open and big. Gives you kind of a nice change, breath of fresh air. It also leaves a lot of space for that lead guitar to be throwing in a lot of cool little fills and stuff, as you can hear. You'll see there's also a little piece that ties the two riffs together. The first one ends in the, or a, it's almost the same little piece, only it's a little bit longer. So that kind of connects the two, makes them seem like they're still part of the same song. Then that builds into a place where we just hang on the E chord and we repeat that 3 times. And the fact that we're repeating it builds tension. As you'll hear the... By climbing the octaves, it also gives you the sense that we're climbing, we're building towards something. And that raises this sort of tension, this sort of expectation of, okay, what's going to happen next? And we're building, and then suddenly, bam, we're into the next part. So that next part better be something really cool because we're sort of anticipating this. And so that's when we go into a little bit faster drum beat, you know, and the rhythm is like... And that's when you hear the main, you know, harmonic minor. You want to... So I wanted to have the kind of this creepy, spidery, kind of a classic, you know, horror movie type of suspense area where now the zombies aren't just kind of walking toward you, now they're chasing you, you know, full on. You slow that down. Then we move that up to G. And back to the E. We end at a little space for a drum fill, and then we're back to the main chugging riff.